Do you find that dating guys that you have to navigate jealousy a lot because you have a huge social following? You're obviously beautiful. You're working in nightlife.
Mhm.
You're a musician. So all of these things garner a lot of attention. Has that been tricky to navigate?
It's been an issue,
Yeah.
definitely. I would say even more so the OnlyFans part,
Mhm.
um, has been interesting because I didn't have OnlyFans before when I was with my ex-husband, we started it together.
Mhm.
Um, and I still have it now, but now I've never been single and had OnlyFans. This is new territory for me.
Uh-huh.
And it's interesting because I'm very upfront.
Mhm.
I'm like, "Hey, this is what I do. You could probably see some super saucy content of me on the internet." And I tell them, and I'm try to be straight no chaser about that, but it seems like certain people can't handle that. There are a lot of guys that I think it's hot. They're like,
Mhm.
I think it's like funny. I keep laughing with my friends. I'm like, I keep attracting like the guys that are like into hot wifing. And I'm like, that's an interesting thing. What is that about myself that I
So what's
keep?
hot wifing for the listeners?
So hot wifing is when you have a partner,
Mhm.
a hot wife who
Mhm.
is hot, and you don't get jealous at all. You actually get turned on by the competition, whether that goes all the way to her actually being with somebody else and there's like a swinger situation, or it could just be like a fantasy.
Mhm.
There's a range.
Mhm.
Some people go all the way, some people don't. But I have experienced that and in my past relationship. Um and it's interesting because I definitely still attract that. And I'm not opposed to it.
Mhm.
It's not that I don't like it. I do like it, I think. And it's interesting because I'm like, I do like it, right? Because I now that I'm single, navigating, okay, what was mine? What of that container did I actually like that I can own and bring into other relationships? But it's interesting because it's like the jealousy part. Yes, I've definitely dealt with that, but equally, I keep attracting this
People
certain,
that are open to it. Mhm.
which I would prefer someone that's like, oh my gosh, she's on stage, she's super hot. Like, even if it's not going all the way to sleeping with somebody else, at least being able to appreciate me as like the star.
Mhm. Yeah, and that can be hard for some men, right? If the woman is getting a lot more attention or if she's more like notable, like has
Yeah.
more followers or is more famous or whatever word you want to use, like that can be really hard for a lot of guys as well.
Yeah. I think so
And
too.
then the money element too, which we were talking about last night, complicates things a lot because
Yeah.
you can think that you are both in this place that is evolved beyond like our evolutionary needs for the man to be
The
the right,
provider.
like that he's bringing home the bacon, right? Like he's the
Yeah.
provider. And then if you have that swapped, both people can think that we're so enlightened, it doesn't matter, but it does show up in sneaky
It
ways, and at
does.
least in my experience.
Yeah,
Mhm.
same. And it's one of those factors to consider too when I'm
Mhm.
dating. I'm like, okay, well, I know what I have now and I know where I'm going.
Mhm.
So it's also like part of me has felt, do I just continue to like protect my energy and like go on dates and experience dating
Mhm.
and, let it be a slow build thing because I feel like 6 months to a year from now, I could be in a totally different category of life.
Mhm.
I feel that for myself. I'm manifesting that. And for me, what's that going to be like?
Mhm.
Because it's like I'm already at a certain level. I'm growing my music career. I'm working my butt off to show my talents. And that only comes with more, like in the upper echelon of life.
Mhm.
But that also is a factor in like, okay, can somebody appreciate me now and go with me and
Mhm.
not be intimidated by that? Do they have their own? Even if they didn't, like say I end up being the one that makes the most, that's fine as long as they're like providing in other ways. And I
Mhm.
think that that's where we're in an interesting place in society because we have a lot of women who make a lot of money in
Mhm.
today's world. So it's like, how can the masculine provide, even if it's not just financial?
So what does that look like to you?
I feel like if I was in a situation, like say my hopes and dreams come true and I like blow up with my music career,
Mhm.
like private jet status, that would be really cool.
Mhm. For sure.
Hopes
Yeah.
and dreams. If that happens, I'm obviously going to be at a level financially where I don't need somebody to pay my bills because I can pay my own bills. So if that's happening, I would hope that my husband has something for himself,
Mhm.
but I also hope that he has the freedom to just like come along with me. Like, can he provide safety for me? Like, literally not letting people mess with me,
Which we talked
standing up
about
for
last night,
me.
and I'm like, "Oh, that's so hot." Like, when you have a guy who's just dangerous, it's so
Yeah,
hot.
I
Yeah.
want whoever my future husband is, please be a little scary. Not to me,
Yes.
to everyone else.
Mhm, mhm,
Because I don't know, it's like I can be a tough girl, like I
mhm,
can put on that front, but
mhm,
also like I want to be shielded.
mhm,
I like that. And I think that that is also provider energy.
mhm,
And I also think it's still like the masculine men can do so much as far as planning dates, planning things, planning trips, doing all of that part is still provider energy, even
mhm,
if they're not fitting the full bill.
mhm,
If even if it's a split situation,
mhm,
like doing the effort energetically is a
mhm,
provider energy. And I
mhm.
think that that is also lacking a lot because I hear it all the time. Like, they're like, oh, like my man never does anything for me. Like, he never buys me flowers. He doesn't do these things. It's like, that is not just a financial situation. That's also like laziness.
Yeah, that's hard because as at least for me, like, as a
Hmm.
woman, if I have to tell you to do it, it takes
It
away
takes it
the whole
away.
point. Like, if I'm like, "I want you to buy me some flowers or a
Yeah.
random gift, or I want you to, like, randomly grab me and kiss me," it takes
Yeah.
away the authenticity of it.
Oh,
But
for
then there's
sure.
also this school of thought, and a lot of this is, Alison Armstrong kind of
I
work,
love
which
her
and
work.
she's amazing, but it's like you have to take everything with a grain of salt because nothing's absolute. So if you speak to your man like a fool or a king, he is.
Right.
So whichever one that you're addressing him is what you're kind of bringing out in him. But
Hmm.
at some point, like if he constantly is like the fool or he's ignorant to your needs,
Yeah.
then like what do you do if like especially if you are addressing him as the king and you are trying to
Yeah.
ignore the bad behavior and want him to rise to the occasion, that's not necessarily going to happen. So I guess
Yeah.
in relationships, when do you decide if he actually is the fool or if he's the king or if you're the one that's emasculating him, right? Because
Yeah.
it's
Well,
this
that's something I
dance.
had to look at too with my last relationship because I did realize I was doing that part. I was mothering.
Demasculating.
I was definitely
Hmm.
like demasculating and I was mothering a lot.
Hmm.
And that kills the polarity
Yeah.
right there. And that was something I had to look at. Okay, why was I not leaning back? It's like that feeling of I didn't feel safe enough to let him do it because I was like, oh, I'll just do it myself.
Hmm.
And a lot of women do that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can just do it myself. I'll do it better.
Hmm.
Oh, like, and then it becomes like the nagging and stuff like that. And that's stuff that I had to look at myself and say, okay, well, what is the step before that that prevents that from happening?
Hmm.
And I think it comes down to like making sure when you're in the dating realm that you're choosing a partner that's actually showing up like that from the beginning
Hmm.
and not because show you who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 90 days, you pretty much figured it out.
Hmm.
So for me, I like to take things way slower now. I don't rush anything anymore. I used to like head dive right into
Like, I'm so in
relationships.
love. Yeah, let's just do
Yeah,
this.
like
Uh-huh.
I like the term limerence, like falling in like love and being enamored and like
Mhm,
pedestaling somebody. I don't do that anymore.
mhm,
I have shifted that. So now I'm on the pedestal. I know who I am, what I want, and I try to sit in that and I let people show me who they are and what they're doing.
mhm,
And then if they're not gonna do the things that I want, I have to say, okay, is that okay with me? Or is this not a good match?
mhm,
And is it worth a conversation or not? Because
mhm.
sometimes it's not even worth the conversation.